welcome. Thank you all for being here. This is Felix's last class, live class with us, or at least when we're in the same time zone. I asked him today what he would like to do, and he said some things that would, something that's new and something that might make you laugh. So we'll be doing a few things today in a more balanced class. It won't all be that. But I mostly tried to think about what would feel good to your body. So we're not going to do any specific glute targeting or core strengthening or rotator cuff or anything like that. So we'll be doing things where we move a little bit more, create a little bit more space in the body, even some specific breath and breathing exercises as we go today. And as far as props go, grab a strap. So it doesn't have to be a yoga strap. It could be a towel or even a TheraBand for that matter. We're going to be using it to kind of open up our shoulders a little bit more today. You might want the yoga blocks for some of the transitions and maybe a supported bridge, but they're not necessary. And I'll be using the blanket mostly for padding my knees. So we're starting on our backs. Whatever position feels comfortable to you here with your legs. I'm coming into a knock-knee position where knees are bent and the feet are a little wider than the hips. We're going to be doing some things a little bit later in the practice to open our chest and allow the shoulder blades to migrate more onto our back than to the sides of our bodies. So if it feels good, maybe bring the arms out to the sides, palms up. So it could be angled down or out in a T or a cactus position. We'll take a few moments here, bringing our focus to the breath. Remembering that our breath is the anchor to our thoughts and where our mind is focusing, anchored to the present moment. So the sensations you're feeling in your body, the subtleties of those sensations. Sometimes we're just observing them. Sometimes we're making decisions and choices about options for each of the poses or the movements. Sometimes to make things feel more open or gentle in your body. Sometimes it's to increase the challenge, or just to get a little bit more feedback. Sometimes we need a little more challenge or resistance to really understand what we're feeling in our bodies. Take the next few breaths here, these lengthened breaths, these slowed down breaths, to set an intention for your practice. And I'll offer this thought today, this intention of being open to possibilities in your body and your life, open to joy and laughter. Take the next few breaths, bring this thought to the front of your mind, open to possibilities, to joy, to laughter. So we'll begin to move from here, and we are going to start the practice off with a flowing bridge. And if you know it, you could go straight there. If you've got some issues going on with your back or tightness in the back, you might just start with a backward pelvic tilt where you flatten the low back into the floor, tailbone tipping up, and then release it. So for this one, the breath is exhale, flatten the back, tailbone tips up, inhale, releasing it. So you could stay there. So it's a very gentle rocking movement that might feel good at the beginning of the practice. If you're feeling like your spine could move a little bit more, this flowing bridge, heels lined up with sitting bones in pretty close, tip the tailbone up like that pelvic rock, and then we lift the hips, the lower back, middle, then the upper back. And then reverse this, laying the upper back down, the middle back, press the lower back, release the tailbone at the bottom. Breath as we inhale, roll up the spine to the top of the bridge. And then we exhale, rolling back down the spine. And even if it's not physically possible in your body to do it, see if you can think about rolling up one vertebra at a time and rolling back down one vertebra at a time. And it might allow you to slow down a little bit. Maybe notice where you feel a little bit more stiffness and tightness or limitation of movement. Once your hips come back down on the next one, let's stay in that down position and pull your knees in towards you and just gently rock a little bit side to side, releasing through the hips and the lower back. And then making your way onto your side, coming into a sort of fetal pose here. And you could be using your bottom arm to support the head or slide a folded blanket or something else underneath there. This is our dish rag twist. So if you imagine, like in your mind's eye, think of a dish rag that you wring out and you're twisting in opposite directions from the ends. That's what we're doing here with our body. So top arm reaching straight out from the shoulder. We sweep it up, back behind you, looking in that direction, and at the same time, stretch the top leg forward. So arm and leg in opposite directions. And then we switch it. Exhale, bring the arm forward and reach the leg back behind you. So we inhale, sweep the arm back, leg forward, maybe push out through the heel, and then exhale, arm forward and that leg back. And do a few more here. If you're stiff and tight, which I'm feeling a little bit here in my obliques, going a little bit easier on myself, hoping that, that the next few movements here I start to loosen up and find more ease. But I'm not trying to force the ease, which, if you think about it, doesn't really make sense. All right, coming on to the other side, supporting that head so that you're not straining through the neck. Hips and knees are bent. To start, top arm straight out from the shoulder. We sweep it back behind on the inhale. Top leg stretching in the opposite direction as the arm. And then exhale, arm forward and that leg back. Let's do a few more. Might be different on this side. Might be different because you warmed up a little bit on the first side. Maybe this side's tighter or more open. This one's kind of full body, head to foot movement here. One more. All right, coming onto your back again. So we're going to be doing some more dynamic movement here where we're taking up space a little bit more. So making sure you have space here to stretch out in the letter X. So we'll be on our backs with the legs and the arms stretch out, and then we're rolling onto our sides, both directions. So you see if you can make space to roll to the sides, but also to stretch out. So we're on our backs here first. Stretch the legs and the arms out so the feet are pointing towards the corners of the room and the hands are pointing towards the other corners of the room. And as you breathe in, make your X bigger. Stretch out through your heels, reach out through your hands. And then on your exhale, you're going to pull the knees in, hugging into that little ball and roll onto one side. And then we come onto our backs into that letter X. So we stretch out, taking up as much space as we can with our bodies. And then on the exhale, pull the knees and roll to the other side, to that little roly-poly ball position. Inhale onto your back, stretch out to that letter X. Take up space. Exhale, curl yourself into a small little ball on your side. Let's do that again. Inhale, opening up on your back. Exhale, curl into the ball on the side. One more time onto your back. Stretch out all four limbs, lengthen through the spine. And then exhale, pull the knees back in, staying on your back, and circle those hips and knees. And you could roll to your side here or hold the backs of the thighs rocking along the length of the spine. If you've got any issues with the spine, including osteoporosis, maybe roll over and then come up. Or take a few rocks here along that length of the spine and eventually coming up to a seated position. So I'm moving into a seated cat and cow. If this is going to work for your body, you might want to elevate the hips here on a folded blanket. If sitting is challenging for you because your hips or your back are tight, you could always sit on the front edge of a chair, or you could come to hands and knees, how we traditionally do cat and cow. We'll bring our hands to the knees here, or the shins. On the inhale, lifting the breastbone, bring that gaze up, broaden through the collarbones. And then as you exhale, let the back round, drop the chin, shoulder blades move apart. Inhale, lifting the chest, collarbones broad, gazing up. Exhale, letting that back round. So keep going here with the movement. You could stay here, hands on the knees. That leverage sometimes feels good. Or sweep the arms out, lifting the chest. Looking up, exhale, rounding the back. Hugging a tree here. Inhale, opening. So the arm movement with this cat and cow might allow a little bit more upper back sensation. The shoulder blades moving apart as you reach forward, the shoulder blades moving together as you open that chest. One more. And then relaxing those arms here. Take a couple of backward shoulder rolls. Finding your strap. And you can either stay sitting here, or you could come up to kneel or like stand on the knees, which is where we're going on the next one. I'm gonna stay sitting here just to keep some pressure off my knees for a while. But you're gonna be upright wherever you are. You can even do the standing. So we're gonna take our strap and hold it a little wider than shoulder distance apart. Tension in the strap, so just take the slack out of it. You don't have to pull hard, and we're reaching it up overhead. We're lengthening up through one side. So I'm going to reach one hand up. The knuckles reach up, and I'm lengthening through that side body. And then exhale, bring it into center. Other side, we inhale. Reach those knuckles up, lengthening through the side body. Exhale to center. Inhale, reach, lengthen. Exhale to center. Do that a couple more times. Finding space here in the side of the body. And then bring it back into center, lowering that strap down, rolling those shoulders here, backward a few times. So now I'm moving to stand on my knees. You might want that extra padding of a blanket or a towel, or even folding up the middle of the mat for this next couple of things that we're gonna do. I'm coming back to the strap with this one. First, we'll just hold on to it. So I want you to see what we're doing with the lower body. This is like a kneeling squat. So it's like a squat motion, except for instead of being on our feet, we're on our knees. So the spine is long, hinging at the hips. So hips go back, chest goes forward, and then we squeeze the glutes to rise up. So it's hips back on the inhale, exhale, rising up, squeezing the glutes. Now you could keep it here, especially if you have shoulder issues, or bring that strap in the overhead position again. So hands a little wider than the shoulders, strap is taut. Can you use the tension on the strap to make those muscles between the neck and shoulders release a little bit so the neck feels long? We're going to keep the strap in line with the head as we sit back into that kneeling squat and then rise back up. So inhale to sit back, spine long. Exhale, squeeze the glutes. Rise up. Let's do a few more. And then notice, did those shoulders right up towards the ears again? Can you let them release away from your ears? A couple more. You might feel that upper back strength happening here. Strong back, allowing for open heart. Strong spine, open and soft in the front of the body. Receiving, letting the arms come back down. Take a few backward shoulder rolls from here. And we're finding our way into puppy or child's pose. So puppy pose, hips to over the knees and the forehead, rest down on the floor. And this is a good one if your knee or hip issues, low bone density in the spine or herniated disc there. Puppy is that child's is the hips over the heels, forehead resting down. Take a few breaths here, whichever pose you've chosen to be in, and recall that you can rest at any time during the practice. Could be this resting position or something else. And it could be, the reasons for resting could be obvious, like you're tired. Maybe you've lost your breath. Maybe you want to slow down and just enjoy this moment and the sensations you're feeling in your body. Not be distracted by the movement or the cues. So we're going to do a Tibetan sun salutation, and this one we start and end in this position. We're going through, we're sort of combining, mashing up some things that we've done already. If you want to watch me on the first one and join on the second, feel free. So from this child's or puppy, we're going to rise up to stand up on the knees like we were before, opening the chest. So we bring the arms back like opening in that cow position of the seated cat and cow. And then we're rounding the back, bring the hands to the floor. So you wind up in cat pose here, hands and knees, chin tucked, tailbone tucked. Inhale, hips up, chest forward. Here's the cow. And then exhale, find your way into that puppy or child's pose. We'll do that again. I'll make it a little more fluid. So rising up on the knees, inhale, opening the chest. Exhale, round the back. Bring the hands to the floor, cat pose. Inhale, cow, hips up, chest forward. Exhale, find child's or puppy. One more, rise up on the knees. Inhale, opening that chest. Gaze up a little bit. Exhale, round the back, hands to the floor, cat pose. Inhale, cow, hips up, chest forward. Exhale, find child's or puppy. Take a few breaths here. Maybe you're starting to feel a little openness in the shoulders, the chest, or just a little bit more freedom of movement. You could stay here longer, resting more, or coming up to hands and knees. Here's our toe rocking movement. 1 foot back, we press the heel back to stretch through the calf, and then we shift forward by bending the toes. Exhale, press the heel back, calf stretch. Inhale, shifting forward, toes bending. And a few more like that. And switch sides. So I often do this before coming into down dog, so down dog doesn't feel like such a shocking stretch, especially if you haven't done any yoga or done any down dogs yet today. But down dog can be a challenging pose, so you can always stick with this toe rocking, come into a child's or puppy, or do something else you know works better for your body. For the down dog, hands a little forward of shoulders, fingers spread. Tuck your toes and hips, come up and back. Now find that length in the spine. And for some of us, that means bending the knees, pushing the sitting bones up and back. Let the head relax here. Shake that head out between the upper arms.
If you find those shoulders really rising up towards the ears, bend the elbows out to the side slightly and then move the inner elbows so they face forward. And then straighten the elbows. See if that helps you find some length here in the neck. Few petals of the feet or lift of the heels and lower back down. Looking forward, we step the left foot between the hands. And if it doesn't get there on the first go, lower that right knee. Left hand helping that foot, forward ankle under knee. Lower the back knee. Take your time and lift up into this upright position. So we want to find more length in the spine, the tailbone towards the earth, the top of the head towards the sky. Right hand holding onto the outside of that left thigh. And then we bring this left arm forward like we're reaching out for a left-handed handshake. I want your hips to stay forward, but we pull that left elbow back, looking towards the left. So upper back rotation. And then we reach it forward again. So we inhale, pull the elbow back, look towards that left side. Exhale, reach it forward. A couple more here. And you're just moving in whatever available range of motion you have as opposed to trying to force or leverage more into this twist. We'll bring it forward here. Both hands on the floor around the front foot and stepping this back into a plank. Knees down or up, exhale, lower to the ground. Coming into a twisting cobra here. Bring the hands out to the sides or off your mat. Elbows bent, pointing towards the ceiling. Come up on tented fingers here. And for my low back, sometimes having my feet out wide, like yoga mat distance or even wider feels good. Lengthen the tailbone towards the foot of the mat. Inhale, lift the head and the chest. On the exhale, lower one shoulder and look away from it. Inhale, lift the head and chest through center, gaze down and forward. Exhale, drop the other shoulder, look away from it. Let's do that one more time to each side. Bring it back to center here. Hands under the shoulders, tuck your toes. We're making our way to down dog. Maybe you go through hands and knees first, and then the hips up into the down dog. Take a few more petals of the feet. If you feel those shoulders rising towards the ears, bend the elbows to the sides, and then rotate so the inner elbows face forward, straightening the elbows again. Looking forward, it'll be the right foot between the hands, helping you get there. You know where we're going, so no rush. Lower that back knee, lifting the torso here, finding more length in the spine, tailbone towards the earth, top of the head towards the sky. That allows for more rotation or more ease of rotation. Left hand on the outside of that right thigh, right hand forward like you're reaching for a handshake. Inhale, right elbow back. Look towards the right. Exhale, bring it forward. Keep the hips square to the front. And it's the upper back, shoulder, chest, head rotation. One more. Bring it forward. We bring both hands down to the floor around that front foot. Step the back foot to the front. Finding a variation of forward fold that works for your body right now. Ragdoll version, knees bent, upper body draped over here, or this one protective of the spine, especially if you have low bone density in the spine or herniated disc. This is feet wide, butt back, forearms on the thighs, spine staying long. Either pose, a little sway or a subtle weight shift might feel nice. And you might be able to really focus on where you feel the pressure in your feet, the heels, the balls of the feet, the left, the right. If you're in that ragdoll, you could continue the weight shift, sometimes holding elbows, shaking that head out, gives a little release to the neck, the upper back. Bring your weight shift back to center. Bend the knees, look forward, strong legs. Inhale, rise up. Stretch your arms out. Take up space, spread your fingers. Arms up overhead. Maybe you look up between your hands.
Exhale the hands to prayer at your heart. Let this go. Shake out your wrist, roll the shoulders. Moving that blanket out of the way for now. We're moving into a breathing exercise, and this one's called Breath of Joy. And it does in my body. It actually kind of brings a little bubbling up of good feelings. So what it is 3 quick inhales through the nose and a big full exhale out through the mouth. If you have a tendency towards anxiety or kind of like an alarmed nervous system, you might just do 1 slow, deep inhale and a full exhale out through the mouth. So keeping that in mind, if your nervous system's on high alert, instead of the 3 quick inhales, 1 full inhale through the nose. So you might watch me on the first one, join on the second one. I usually have like a little bend to my knees, so there's a little bit of a bounciness. And I don't know why, but it just makes sense. I'm kind of like conducting a symphony with my arms when I do this one. So that little bend to the knees, the 3 quick inhales through the nose. Full exhale through the mouth. Let it out. Do it again. Couple more. Last one. Let it go. Come on up. Roll the shoulders. Feel that flow of energy here. Nice. Bring it on in. We'll come on up to the front of the mat if you aren't there. And starting here, coming into warrior one. So let's step our left foot back into that warrior one. So for this one, you've got a little bit of space between your feet. For most of it's going to be heels lined up with the sitting bones or hip joints. Back foot, this left foot turned out to 10 o'clock-ish. Front knee bent, tailbone down. The top of the head is reaching up. So again, we're creating more space here in between the vertebrae. I'm going to turn to face you so you can see this one. This is the taking the sweater off move. So we're opening through the chest. So spine stays long, lower body stays here. We lean forward a little bit, cross the arms in front of the knee, keep them crossed and inhale up, and then we reach them out, taking up space again. So we exhale, lean forward, cross the arms, inhale, lift, and open. A couple more. I thought of this one because I know Felix said men don't take their sweaters off this way. They pull from behind the neck, up and over. Opening up, pause here in that open position, palms, inner elbows face up. Let the elbows come down a little bit so you can feel the shoulder blades slide down your back. And instead of the collarbones being in a V position here, seeing if they can be more parallel to the earth. More of a straight line across. One more inhale. Exhale, release the arms. You could straighten that front knee, maybe swing the arms out here a little bit. No, I should have had you get it before, but I'm going to have you grab your strap here. So we're still in that warrior one with that left foot back, front knee bent. Bring the strap here behind you, and you'll have your hands about shoulder distance apart, palms facing away. So again, tailbone down, top of the head up. A little tension in the strap. Just take the slack out of it. And then can you roll the shoulders back and down and reach the knuckles towards the feet? So you open up through the chest, and again, that collarbone broadens. And if you're like, great, got my chest and shoulders nice and open, but that head stayed jutted forward, keep the tailbone down, bring the back of the head back a little bit, tip the chin up so you're opening up through the front of the throat a little, not a hyperextension. Take another couple breaths here. Feel the strengthening around the shoulder blades, upper back, towards the mid back. Strong back, open heart.
Release the strap, step it to the front, shake out your legs, roll those shoulders. And of course, we do this on the other side. I'm just gonna put the strap over my shoulders here so I don't have to come out of the pose to get it again. So this time, right foot back into that warrior one, back foot turned out to 2 o'clock-ish, front knee bent, tailbone towards the earth, top of the head towards the sky. We have 2 sweaters on, so we gotta take that second one off. Lean forward, cross the arms in front of the knee, keep them crossed as you inhale, lift up, and then fling the arms open here. And again, exhale forward, inhale, lift, and open up. Take up space with your arms, spread your fingers out. 2 more. Opening up here, this next one, stay in that open position, palms, inner elbows face up. Let the elbows bend so the shoulder blades can kind of slide down the back here. Take a few breaths. Thinking about that lengthening of the spine, especially tailbone towards the earth. And then we'll straighten that front leg, release the arms. You could swing them out a little bit here. And then coming back into that warrior one, bending the knee. This time the strap is behind us again. Hands shoulder distance apart, the palms face away from you. Take the slack out of the strap, so a little tension there. Roll the shoulders back and down, knuckles reach towards the earth. And often we can get that openness of the shoulders, but hard to kind of open the front of the neck. So gently press the head back a little bit, tip the chin up slightly. So the gaze is just coming up like 2 to 3 feet higher on the wall than what would be eye level. Keep the breath. Sometimes when we open our chest like this, it sends this physiological signal that we've already taken a breath, like our ribs have expanded. So you tend to hold the breath here. So you have to remind yourself to breathe. All right, let that strap go. Step it forward here, shake out your legs, roll the shoulders. You can let the strap come back down to the floor. We're gonna work a little bit here on balance, and this is not technically a yoga pose, but we're gonna use our gaze focus, which is called the drishti in yoga here. And you might wanna step off your mat for a more solid surface. You're gonna get the feedback of where your weight is shifted quicker than if you're on a squishy surface. You might wanna be close to the wall here for this so that if you start to lose your balance, you could lean against it, or a steady piece of furniture. This is the tightrope or the balance beam one. So we're gonna bring one foot directly in front of the other. All right, so starting here, I'll face you, one foot directly in front of the other, a tiny bend to both knees. Find that length in the spine again, tailbone down, top of the head up. If you are really challenged here and your feet are really moving to stay with this, I would stay with this, don't add the head turns. But what I'm gonna do is have you bring one hand forward, right? Finger in front of you. I want your gaze focused on that finger. Keep the gaze focused there, but turn your head side to side. So the eyes stay on the finger while the head turns. And you might notice that it gets quite a bit harder here, and your feet and your ankles are having to work harder to keep you balanced. We'll do a few more head turns or a few more breaths. Right, so we're messing with the inner ear a little bit, but we're keeping our same visual feedback. Bring the head back to center, let the arms go. Remember which foot is back. Shake it out, and do that on the other side. So other foot in front, tiny bend to the knees. Find that length in the spine, tailbone down, top of the head up. One arm forward, finger up. Focus your gaze on that finger here. Keep breathing. You might stay here, this could be challenging enough, or turning your head, keeping the gaze on that finger. Bigger, faster head turns are gonna be harder, more challenging. So if you're falling out immediately, maybe make your head turn slower or smaller. Are you breathing? All right, come on up. Let it go. Shake out your legs, roll the shoulders, the feet and ankles. We're working really hard for that one. Come on up to the front of the mat. Inhale, get taller, reach up, look up. On your exhale, find your forward fold, forearms to thighs or hands toward the floor. Take a few breaths here, a few sways, a few shakes of the head. Bend the knees enough to bring the hands to the floor. Walk it back into a down dog. Take a breath here, long through the spine, long through the neck. Lower both knees, untucking your toes. Find a child's or a puppy pose position, or any other resting position for that matter. Coming back to the breath. Slowing down, lengthening out the breath. Coming back to your intention for the practice. This openness, being open to possibilities in the body, in our lives. Open to joy. Open to laughter. You can stay longer here, resting more, really solidifying that intention more, or coming up here again to stand or come to hands and knees. You could use a blanket here to pad your knees because we'll be on one knee here for a little bit. I'm going to turn to face you for this one, but you could stay facing whatever direction you can see me is fine. And if your foot comes off the mat, that is fine too. So we are stretching, let's stretch our right leg back behind us, sweep it out to the side, and then lower the foot down. So my right foot is in line with my left knee, sole of the foot down, toes point forward. And then we're walking the hands back to come up to stand on that left knee. And once you're up, you might have to reposition that foot, like you might be jammed up a little bit. Sometimes that's what happens with me. So here we are in a gate pose. And we're going to lower the left hand down to the floor. So this ends up being like a little bit of a side plank. And you could stay with this, reaching that right arm up, or even the hand staying on the hip. If you want a little bit of work here for the core, imagine you had 100 helium balloons on this top hand, and it's so much helium that you start to rise up. That left hand rises up off the floor, a bird flies by and pops 10 of the balloons, and you slowly float back down. You add 10 more balloons, you inhale, float up, and then you exhale, float down. A couple more here. If you're feeling your obliques working, it means you're doing it right. One more. All right, lower down. You can walk those hands forward again, bring that knee back under its hip. Take a few cat-cow motions here. And we do that other side. So we reach that left leg back, I'm at the wall, and then stretch that leg out to the side. Sole of the foot down. So my left foot is in line with my right knee. Left toes point forward, rising up to stand on that knee. Maybe readjusting here once you're up. Find that length in the spine. That right hand is going to come down onto the floor. Or, you know what might be helpful, instead of going all the way down to the floor, is lowering down to a block or two under that hand. This left arm could be up. 100 helium balloons float you up on the inhale. They pop and you float down. Inhale, float up. Exhale, float down. Couple more. All right, walk those hands forward, lower the knee. Come back to that hands and knees, maybe a few cat-cows or wag of the tail or some hip circling motions here. All right, right, we are coming into a position to release tension in the upper back, this area between the shoulder blades. You could either use 2 yoga blocks for this or 2 blankets or towels that are rolled up to be about the same size. I'm going to use the yoga blocks here. I'm going to use my blanket as a little perch for my forehead at the front of the mat. So I'm placing that there. And these yoga blocks are going to go under my shoulders when I'm in this belly down position. So forehead could be on that folded blanket, or maybe you're resting on one cheek. Slide the blocks or 2 rolled up blankets, towels under the shoulders, snuggled in pretty close to the rib cage. Now options here with the arm placement would be arms out to the side, sort of cactus position. Or my favorite is arms down by the sides, palms facing up. And then once you're here, that's it, right? So we don't have to engage, we don't have to stretch, we don't have to lengthen, we don't have to imagine balloons doing anything, defying gravity. It's about resting. It's about softening. It's about letting go of something that's not needed right now. So the purpose of these props in the shoulders is to push the shoulder blades towards the spine, so those muscles in the upper back get to rest. I find I could go a little taller on the blocks, but I have a lot of openness in my chest and shoulders, and that works better for me. You could decide what works for you. Use the breath here to help you soften a little bit more. So each exhale is this opportunity for these muscles in the upper back to melt. So imagine you put a skillet, a frying pan on the top of the stove, and you just turned it on. You put a little pat of butter in the center of the pan, and as it heats up slowly, the solid piece of butter starts to melt and turns to liquid. Imagine each exhale, that upper back melting, turning to liquid. Take a few more breaths right here. And that liquid sensation in the upper back might feel like warmth or heat. That's that perfusion of blood flow when you're not tensing those muscles. It might feel a little sparkly, a little tingly, not like a nerve problem, but like it's alive. Like it doesn't have to be one solid block of hard, tightened muscle. Take another couple breaths here. And when you're ready, moving away from here, you can move those blocks out from underneath you, rolling onto your back. Come into a supported bridge. So you could use the block for this here if you'd like. Folded blanket, foam roller works as well. You're lifting the hips and sliding that prop underneath your sacrum. So this area that's above the fleshy part of the butt, but below the low back. So make sure you're not on the vertebrae of the low back here. Once you get here, adjust it if you need to. Sometimes it being slightly off is uncomfortable, so you can move it around to get it in the right place. And then once you're here,
Can you convince the back muscles and your buttocks muscles to relax, to let go, to soften? Right? They worked to lift your hips for you to slide the prop underneath, but now they're supported. So if you can convince them to turn off, that release, especially around the spine, the release of the muscles around the spine, might actually allow this position to provide some traction or decompression, where the hips higher than the shoulders is allowing for more space to come between the vertebrae. There's more space for the discs, those shock absorbers, and they take up space. They're supposed to take up space between the vertebrae. As we get older, they shrink in size and our vertebrae are more jammed together. So this position here might feel a kind of release in that low back. Maybe a similar way to what you felt in the upper back in that other relaxation position. This could feel so good that you stay here and you don't come into the legs up position, but if you would like, you could pull the knees in towards you and reach the feet up towards the ceiling. Knees a little bent so that you're not super engaged through the hip flexors and the quads. And then with our feet, we're gonna write with our toes, both toes at the same time, yoga. So draw the letters Y-O-G-A with the feet. And then the word for, F-O-R. And then rowers. So, why we drew it, or what the words, but the movement here, just to work any bit of extra fluid, lactic acid out of the lower body. Once you're done, just shake your legs out. And then we lower the feet to the floor, lifting the hips. Take that prop out from underneath you here, lowering on down. Pull the knees in gently towards you, just a little hug to open up through the joints of the lower back of the lumbar spine. And then we'll bring both feet down, but cross that left ankle over the right knee. This could be as far as you want to go in the reclined pigeon, or pull the legs in towards you, reaching between, hold the back of the thigh. For some of you might be able to hold the shin for more stretch. It doesn't really work in my body, so I'm here. Or maybe it's a block or two under that right foot, so you're not having to use your arms, but if you are using the arms to hold, relax the shoulders, the neck, the jaw. Again, focusing on what you're feeling in the body. Maybe an openness or a stretch in that left buttocks, outer hip. Maybe you're feeling it more in the hamstring and that back of the thigh. Sometimes if you're tight there, this will give you that stretch. And keep that left ankle crossed, but lower the right foot to the floor. We'll bring the arms out to the sides, drop both legs over to the right so that sole of that left foot comes to the floor or close to it. But then use your right hand to pull the inner left knee towards the floor. Maybe you slide your foot away a little bit, gaze up or turn away from the legs. Take a few breaths. Untangle the legs. Use your abdominal muscles to pull the knees up through center, repositioning or hugging the knees in here. And this time we'll do right ankle over left knee. Foot stays down or on a block or two, or you pull it in, holding on back of that left thigh or the shin. Remind the neck, the shoulder muscles to let go, release their vigilance. Breathe. That lengthened breath here, like where we started, signaling to the nervous system, hey, we are winding down, getting to the place where our muscles can let go and we can eventually rest. Ankle stays crossed, left foot comes down, arms out, drop the legs to the left. Sole of the foot, right foot on the floor, but use that left hand then to pull the knee down. So the sole of the foot will come up, inner left knee towards the floor, head turned away. Any variations here that you'd like. So you don't have to stick with this if you got here and you're like, oh, I feel kind of jammed up or my hip doesn't like that position. Change it. Lots of different ways to do this recline twist. Untangling the legs, use your abs to pull the knees up through center. Maybe a gentle rocking here, or you find a happy baby, or you think about what would feel good to my body right now. Maybe coming back to something we've already done, like that flowing bridge, or maybe a bridge that you hold, or maybe that dish rag twist, or something that I didn't include in the practice today. And think about how you'd like to set yourself up for Shavasana, for that relaxation, for this final resting pose. Maybe you scoot over to the chair and put your legs up on it, or over to the wall and put your legs up the wall. Maybe you use your blanket under your head and your spine and find some openness here that we've kind of cultivated throughout the whole practice. And it might feel good just to rest in that open position. I would also say this is very similar to the upper back relaxation that we did in the belly down, the blocks or blankets under the shoulders. Here, it's kind of the same position, but gravity is opening our shoulders instead of a prop. The prop's under the spine. So I'm demonstrating that one, but feel free to take what would allow you to rest, to relax. And normally I do like a heavy open-mouthed sigh, but in honor of Felix, likes to do the horsey breath here. So if you don't know what that is, listen on the first one. We inhale through the nose, blow out through the lips. Do it again. Inhale through the nose, blow out through the lips. Let that breath go. Breathing however your body, whatever rhythm and depth that your unconscious brain is dictating. So no specific way, no intentional way. Allow the body to feel the effects of gravity. So instead of resisting gravity as we do for most of our waking moments, we allow ourselves to be supported by the earth. And we rest. We rest for the next few minutes. Stay here for longer, resting more. If you're ready to move on, start to wiggle the fingers, the toes, ankles, the wrist. Maybe a big full body stretch like that letter X we started with. And breathe out, roll to your side, pausing here for a moment, appreciating your body, your breath, your health, your yoga practice. Freshening yourself up to a seated position. Thank you all for being here, sharing your practice, and special thank you to Felix for all your organizational skills, your kooky and informative emails, all your other support for Yoga for Rowers. May you be blessed with easy travel. May you feel safe and at ease in your new home. May you keep your new friends and make many splendid new ones. Namaste.